Hello, I'm EJ Massa. I'm doing the 4-job Fiesta, which, if you don't know what that is, it's a video game event. That's every summer, basically. And you play Final Fantasy V with very restrictive rules. There's options on what rules you do, but for the most part, generally, and the one I'm doing now is the basic one, which is every job crystal that you get, because Final Fantasy V has a bunch of jobs that you can pick that has different abilities, but every crystal you get a job and you're locked into it. And then with each crystal, you unlock a new job, and then you can only use those the job that is decided by the the Twitter robot that runs the event. So it's kind of fun because you'll get 4 unique jobs. I think I've done it like 5 years now, 5 or 6 years maybe. So every you get a mix of jobs that you probably wouldn't have used in your first round, because when you play through naturally, you kind of get into whatever ruts that you get into. The easiest jobs that appeal to you, and this kind of forces you to maybe use unpopular jobs, or just ones that you wouldn't naturally use. So let's see. Hopefully I don't get the Beastmaster. I think I've gotten the Beastmaster every year. Not that I don't like the Beastmaster. I just got it a lot. And I'm hoping for a good mix of jobs. I already did the registered, and when you register, they already give you the Wind Crystal job. So the Wind Crystal job that I have to pick is Monk, which I don't think I've gotten before. So that at least is mixing it up. So we'll see. We'll see how this goes. The intro is very, very long. I'm playing the GBA version, which has a dash button, and I'm actually playing this on my GameCube, and I GameCube with a Game Boy player, upscaled with the Frame Master, and I have the boot disc that causes so you can do the low latency, because when you play with the regular Game Boy Advance player with the official disc, there's some strange, like, I don't know what it is, like blurring between frames or something. And you can actually use I don't know what you call it, a special boot disk to load up a program that can get rid of that, which is pleasing to me for some reason. And I'm also playing with a special Hori controller, which was only released in Japan. It's almost like a Super Nintendo controller. It was designed for the Game Boy Advance player. I do like Final Fantasy V. I don't know what it is about it. Maybe because it was like forbidden fruit. It was never here in America. I think the job system is very interesting. I like playing it within this event because it gets me out of my comfort zone and gets me experimenting with new job combinations. The goal of this is really, maybe someday I'm going to make a video about it. I don't know yet. I don't know. But feel free to, if anybody's even watching, to talk in the chat, and I'll try to answer questions. My main goal is to just capture footage, so I might not be the most talkative. I'll say some things, though. Please enter your name. This is tough. This is tough. Oh, is anybody even watching right now? If you're watching, you can shout out a name for me. But if you're not, I'll just pick one. Should I go with Butts, like the original OG? Change case. Go with the original Butts. That's a good one. You know what? In honor of what the author of the manga Berserk, I'm gonna name him Guts. I think that would be good. I love Berserk, and it's tragic that the author, who I can't remember the name of. So I'll go with Guts. It's a good tribute. This translation's like better than the PlayStation one, but it is a little bit like goofy. I think there's like Simpsons references in it and stuff that's it's pretty funny. But it does its job. It's very colorful. This is definitely a more weirdly lighthearted Final Fantasy. Like, especially because Final Fantasy IV is pretty dark. I mean, it starts off with Cecil. He's just like having nightmares because he like is following orders to steal people's crystals and murder them. So he's just like having nightmares and being conflicted about following orders. And this one, I don't know, there's just everyone's acting so goofy all the time. It's not the same. It's just an adventure. And then eventually you have to stop an evil tree. Can't really take this game too seriously. You gotta love X-Death, who's the evil tree. You gotta love him because he's such a Kefka-like character, where they didn't even bother having real nuance with their characters, with their evil villains. I don't know what about this game makes it so playable for me that I've had to play it every year. Oh, the GBA version especially, because I've played the Super Nintendo version where you don't have the dash by default, and it's just, you gotta have that dash. It improves the experience so much. Because you have the dash with the thief, like that's the thief skill, but no, you don't want to be locked down with a thief. And also what's interesting is Final Fantasy VI kind of does away with this kind of design where on the overhead world, you know, they have like smaller sprites, but in battle they have more detailed sprites. But the sprites in Final Fantasy VI are all the same, whether you're in battle or overhead. And they kind of return to that in Final Fantasy VII, where they have like chibi models. And I have like battle models, which are more proportioned, more normally. I don't know, it's just things I am noticing, and I'm guessing in Final Fantasy VI they did it out of necessity because they didn't want 2 sets of sprites for every single character, because there's a lot of characters in Final Fantasy VI. Which is a great game. I mean, you can't beat Final Fantasy VI. I was capturing footage for another video I'm working on, and I got stuck on Final Fantasy VI because it's just so fun. It's such a good, like this one has like that brighter palette, and while Final Fantasy VI has that more like, it's almost like it's like a grittier palette. It's like a more subdued palette. Now this one, like the colors are all bright, and that one's it's almost like desaturated in a way. I hate everything's more detailed too. I always expect to see a little turtle in this spring, because there's a turtle in the Final Fantasy VI, like one of the first caves. After Figaro, or whatever it's called. Figaro. The only downside of the GBA version is the sound is not as good. Unfortunately. Does... No, I don't have any swords. But the GBA was such a golden age of Super Nintendo ports and things that were looked like they could have been on the Super Nintendo. It was almost like the Super Nintendo had a second chance. Second coming. Alright, here's the hard part. I have to figure out which save slot I have to overwrite. Okay. So... this was a few years ago. This is the Fiesta I did. This was last year. So I had the Dragoon, Black Mage, Beastmaster, Dancer. So that's... I love... I named my guy Ribs this year. So I had Blue Mage, Mystic Knight, Samurai, Beastmaster. I think this was when I just played through the game, when I first bought the game back in 2000 and whatever. So I'm not overwriting that one. So I think I'll get rid of the Beastmaster. It's bad memories. Alright, yeah, getting the Beastmaster is just, it's rough going when you got that job class. Which is probably, I'm gonna maybe roll that dice this time. Oh man, gotta love the pirates. Pirates kind of had a moment in the 90s, didn't they? This was before Pirates of the Caribbean, you know? They, like the Donkey Kong series had a, you know, the Donkey Kong Country had some pirate themes going on there. A lot of... Where did that open up? That opened up something somewhere else. I was reading some sort of walkthrough for this game. You know, Ferris, that character, you know, is dressing as a man. You know, because you don't want to be a pirate woman and hang around pirates as a woman. And there's a lot of very poorly aged jokes in that walkthrough. Let me just say, in reference to a woman dressing as a man. Let me just say that. And it's amazing because, you know, that was like, I think the walkthrough was written like 12 years ago. How far we've come. I don't even think you'd even dream of making that joke. Well, I don't think you'd have this plot line in this game. Maybe not as the way they did it, because there's some jokes at the expense. It was definitely the oddball of the Final Fantasies on the Super Nintendo. And they kind of redid that oddballness for PlayStation, where... And they did it for the Nintendo, the regular Nintendo, because, you know, the first one, you know, sets the precedent and it's lauded. And then the second one's kind of weird. And then the third one kind of builds off the first one. So they did that with, you know, Final Fantasy 2 on Super Nintendo. You know, it's kind of groundbreaking with the way it did story. And then Final Fantasy 5, this one is kind of the oddball, and then Final Fantasy 6 kind of refines all the things that were in Final Fantasy 4 and makes the story even bigger. And then they did it again with the... Well, they sort of did it with the PlayStation. It's more like Final Fantasy 7 was groundbreaking. Final Fantasy 8 was definitely the oddball. And then Final Fantasy 9 was just safe and traditional, I would say. But still good. Final Fantasy 9 is better than Final Fantasy 8. I couldn't I couldn't with Final Fantasy 8. It's like too much, like everyone has amnesia, and like, you know, it took the moody protagonist of Final Fantasy 7 and just like amped it up to 11. What do I have for items here? Alright. I did get the PlayStation port of this, and it is interesting having to play this game with load times. It makes grinding just unbearable, and the translation's strange. And I played through, because it was part of Final Fantasy Anthology, if I want to say, which had Final Fantasy V and Final Fantasy VI, and I played through both of them on PlayStation, because I think, you know, you just get... Oops. No. Wait. No. I want to take all. After Final Fantasy VII, there was just hunger for any RPG. And even though I played Final Fantasy VI on the Super Nintendo, and I never played Final Fantasy V, so that was my first exposure to it, was through that game, which I didn't enjoy it as much. It was kind of a novelty, though. Like, oh, this is never made to America. Oh, I have to get that chest. There's nothing in there. Why am I here? Why are any of us here? I want to get that chest. I missed it. There we go. A leather cap. Put it in your cap. Put it in your cap. pretty excited they're going to release all these games again. Pixel Perfect. The port of this on the iOS, or the remake or remaster on the iOS, is awful. Awful art. I guess they're going to go back and port them Pixel Perfect. I wish they did it. They were going to do it for the Switch. I think it's just going to be for like mobile and PC. I would have rather for the Switch, because the Switch deserves them. I'll give the broadsword to Galoof. I don't know. What I love about this era of Final Fantasies, even Final Fantasy VII, is the first boss is always a variation on this boss. And also Final Fantasy IV had it too, where they have a stage. Well, I already killed it, but there's a stage where if it like defends itself, and if you attack in that phase, it'll counterattack. So the first boss is always like that, and I think it's just to teach you about active time battle, which all of those games have. But it almost teaches you in a way that you would expect the mechanic to return, but it never does. So it's always the first boss, it does that counterattack thing and then never really comes back. And of course, we got crystals, baby. I remember, like, so Final Fantasy VI stopped doing plots with crystals, and Final Fantasy VII and VIII didn't really have huge crystals things. And I remember when Final Fantasy IX came about, they're like, we're bringing back crystals. That was a huge selling point for Final Fantasy IX. I don't really remember. I think that wasn't there like a big crystal in Final Fantasy IX. I've only played Final Fantasy IX once, so I played it back in the day. So it was like 1999 or whatever it came out. Alright, so now I got my crystals, so I have to set everyone up for their jobs. Which, my job that I was bestowed upon by the Twitter robot was Monk. So I'll do that. Which I don't think I've had in a Fiesta setting. And Lena looks like Chun-Li. Hey. No. Okay, bye. The chocobos chill. Save. And grog. Was it Monkey Island that has a lot of grog in it? Now, is grog just water, like a really watered down rum? I think that's what it is. Why am I talking to people? I don't need to do that. The monk is pretty good for early game. Just use your fists. These ladies are going to do something untoward toward me. Something. This is racy. No wonder why this was never brought to America. You never know, I might get the bard. So you gotta do your piano. Right? It's a piano flex. Do I need to buy this? Well, because you never know if you're gonna get a, you know, like a red mage later down the line. I don't think I need weapons because I have monks. See ya. So I'll have leather armor. Need a couple caps. You know what? Might as well buy those spells just in case. Just in case a red mage comes down the line. Because we know that I won't have a white mage. Because white mage and black mage are both in the first one. Oh wait, I don't need weapons, obviously. The first round. So I know I don't have them right now, but you never know. Might get a red mage. Let's get them. What else am I gonna buy? Not weapons. That was all of them, right? Yeah. Oh, wait, there's more. So might as well just go on a spree. It always kind of disturbed me that Bart's as a kid had green hair, and it turns brown. Maybe they thought like the kid wouldn't stand out, or maybe they just have like a little boy model with green hair, and that's all they wanted to use. You can really tell what Zoc is thinking. He's got some good acting. See, look at him thinking, and he's like, yeah, here you go. Some good acting by Zoc. Everyone agrees. Everyone likes his hat with the ball on the end. Or is it a hood? It's got good fashion, that Zoc. So look at him. Beard down to his feet. Wish I had that. Something to aspire to have a beard that goes all the way to your feet. What am I doing? What's my health like? Okay, you're good. We're good. Let's go do the thing. Get the big fish is next, the lobster. it going, penis? Hope you're doing well. First playthrough? Nah, man. I'm doing the 4 Job Fiesta, so I do it almost every year. So it's probably my 5th or 6th playthrough, maybe like 7th overall. I don't have everything memorized, but I can generally figure my way through a 4 Job Fiesta. If you're even familiar what a 4 Job Fiesta is. The basics is you get assigned a job at every crystal, and you have to stick to it. So right now I'm only playing with monks. I anticipated your question about what is a 4 Job Fiesta. And Final Fantasy V, if you don't know what that is, it has a lot of jobs. And in this way, you're assigned 4 jobs during this event out of all of these other ones. It's kind of a challenge playthrough, and it mixes things up. So right now I have only monks. And the next crystal, I'll have to have whatever job gets assigned to me by the Twitter robot. And then I'll have to have at least one of that job and monk. And then on the third one, I'll have to have at least, the monk, the next job, and the next job. Until you have all 4 jobs assigned to you. The monk is pretty good for the early game, but later game, I don't think it works out too well. It's not very strong in the late game. What's your favorite Final Fantasy? Oh, it's tough. It's tough to choose between. It would have to be either Final Fantasy VI or Final Fantasy VII. Final Fantasy VII, it's got to be that. It's got to be Final Fantasy VII. It hit me at the right time in my life. Where the possibilities of gaming just seem so infinite at that title. Final Fantasy VI is good too. It's almost a crime to try to pick between them. Although I probably end up playing Final Fantasy V, this one more than any other because of this event. Because the 4 Job Fiesta happens every summer, and I tend to play it every summer because usually there's not really too many new games, and I find myself with slightly more time in the summer. You hate the remake of 7 with all the story changes? I don't hate the remake of 7. I think it's very interesting. as a piece of art, content, media. It's almost reflecting upon what it means to be a remake, which could be interesting. It's not really what I want in a game. I do like the combat a lot. I like the presentation. When it does, like, stick to the story, those are the best parts, obviously. I don't hate it. I did like it. But it's not as good. I mean, the original still exists. So that's the good thing. You can still play the original. And it's still great. But I don't think... Man, that's what people wanted in a remake. I know they're doing some other, like, mobile remake of, like, all of the Final Fantasy story or something. If I'm not mistaken. Which I don't think will be good, but they're doing that. I do wish PlayStation 5s were easier to get, because I wanna play the expansion or whatever of Final Fantasy VII Remake, because Yuffie's one of my favorite characters, and that'd be fun. I'm hoping you do some House of Dragon reviews next year. That's how I originally found you in Red Cow. Those were hilarious. I might. I'm pretty open to it. And I'll definitely, if George R. R. Martin ever releases the book, a next book, I'm definitely reviewing the books, or the book, the last book that he may write. You know, you gotta love Game of Thrones, even though it like ended horribly. I still like it a lot, and I like the books. Like, the books aren't bad to me. Yeah, you gave up on wins. I know. I almost, it's almost like a joke at this point, where it's like, maybe it'll come out. Like, yeah, Dream of Spring is definitely not coming out. That's for sure. This is where they find out Ferris is he's a girl. Oh no! It's a plot line that hasn't been aged as well as some others. Yeah, there's a lot of rich material in, the Targaryen history. So I'll be interested in the show. I mean, the world of Game of Thrones is so vast and so rich. You could make a lot of good shows on it. But there's a lot of pitfalls in that too. You know, the whole, all the prequel stuff that people fall into. Oh wait, I go this way. So yeah, I'm convinced HBO does a sequel show to Thrones in like 20 years. Yeah, maybe they'll get the actors back for a sequel. They're definitely not doing much. Well, actually, wait. No, that's not true, because both Kit Harington and Rob Stark are in the Eternals. If they don't make a Game of Thrones joke in the Eternals, that's a missed opportunity, especially since Kit Harington's playing a swordsman in black. They should probably just remake Game of Thrones in 20 years. I'm it says no cam, EJ not confirmed. I assure you it's me. I am EJ. I am not a robot. Beep boop. I am drinking mead. I am drinking mead. I'm actually drinking my Viking's blood right now. I made a huge batch of Viking's blood in a 3-gallon like ceramic German crock. My father-in-law he likes fermenting stuff, so he had this huge German fermentation vessel. He has like a ton of them, and he's like, "Hey, do you want an extra one?" And I was like, "Okay." And I made a huge batch of mead in it, my Viking's blood mead. Let's see. Maybe George R. R. Martin can write a book or two. That'd be pretty sweet. Yeah, wouldn't that be nice? I don't think... it's like one of those things where you're just so disappointed that you'll take anything, really. Video coming out. I mean, I already did a video on Viking's Blood. I might do... Maybe I'll do a video about making it in large batches. But there is a video about Viking's Blood if you want to see it. It's on the YouTube channel. That I made like a couple years ago, maybe. Or maybe last year. All the years are blending together now. There's a couple meads I want to make for videos. Like, I want to make a coffee mead, which is, making honey wine out of iced coffee, basically. And I get this special coffee from these monks, and I was thinking of doing it with that. I forget. I'm just gonna wail on this girl. I forget what her... She has a shtick. She has like an undead side and a living side, and I don't know if which side you have to attack. Is there any other meads I want to do? I do a jalapeno mead. I might want to make a video on that sometime. Like maybe even grow my own jalapenos and make the wine out of it. So yeah, this chick becomes undead, and then I forget what happens. I think I can just still hit her, right? I think her defenses are higher. Because you're supposed to hit this version with magic. Is there anything else I want? I'm growing cucumbers in my garden right now, and I love to make pickles. I want to make fermented pickles. So that'll be something I'll have to either make a video about or just do. Sometimes it's hard to decide whether you just want to enjoy life or make a video about your life. So it's a tough decision. I know everyone would want me to make a video about it, so. I have a couple things I need to do. Somebody sent me some cooking equipment, and I'm just very slowly getting to it. Pickles would be a short vid, but you know what? I'm not. Maybe it'd be part of a whole series of cucumber recipes. Or maybe it would just be the pickles, because who has time? I have 2 kids under 5. I'm like James Rolfe over here. Who has the time? I don't have any time. It's what kind of cooking equipment was sent to me. It was a wok. And a way to heat that wok up to make high heat Chinese recipes. Unless that's are you drunken monk? Because you probably sent it. Yeah, it's probably you're a drunken monk, aren't you? I'm also procrastinating going to sleep. Yeah, I'm working on several things concurrently, which is something I do all the time. Is I start many projects and then I like slowly finish them all, and sometimes they all get finished at the same time. So yeah, I have that the grilling review, a Super Nintendo top 10. And this I'm just capturing footage, and I might do something with it. I don't know. I think both Frankie and I are just, I think we just need a quick reset. We've been going at this content stuff for like 6 years, non-stop. As someone who also has 2 kids under 5, I don't know how you have time for any projects other than survival. It's true. I just have I'm not just that kind of personality where I just have to do stuff, even if it's detrimental to me. But I don't know. I think with the summer, it's been nice to have just a little bit of a reset. Okay, own all these. Relaxing over summer? Not really. Work has been really busy, so that's not very relaxing. And they're making me like go into the office now, which isn't very relaxing. But it's good to go outside. I've been exercising, which isn't very relaxing either. So, what can I say? I think Frankie and I both have problems where we can't stop. Our idea of relaxing is just like, I don't even know. See, how is it back in the office? In an office? It's kind of good in some ways because I'm only going to the office 2 days a week because working from home is just way better. Overall, it's way better. But there's some things that you can just communicate so easily in person that you can't do even over Zoom. So it's like things that would, misunderstandings that would last for weeks, can be resolved in like 15 minutes, which is always good. But, it's also, you spend time traveling, you spend time, I don't know, working from home is way better. Is the ultimate gist, but there are some things that are nice. You miss it? What? I don't know. I don't want to like dox you or anything, but yeah, I don't know. I do see some utility in going to the office, but I have been very productive at home. And also, you know, I cook all the meals. And your commute's a 15-minute walk, man. Like, I cook all the meals in my house. So, like, it's kind of a pain to try to plan when I'm going to cook. And it's just so much easier to just like log out at 5 p.m. and just start cooking than to like since I've been commuting, those days I'll cook the night before, and then when I'm cooking the night before, I'm not like, you know, unwinding. So it's just there's things you just got to do. Yeah, you cook too, and yeah, I cook all the meals in the house. Not gonna call out my wife or anything, but she just doesn't have it in her. Some meetings you'll just cook dinner. I actually don't have too many meetings, which is kind of interesting. Some of my colleagues do. And I feel bad for them. Because they want me to work. They want me to make videos. And so I make videos all the time. They'll actually sometimes like bite the bullet and take meetings for me in some sort of like meeting martyrdom. And because they just want me to work. They want me to do my job, which is kind of gracious of them. Yeah, all hands meetings. I used to have those at my previous job, and I'd take out my Game Boy and I'd just play, especially like during COVID, obviously. During COVID, I'd turn off my camera and play a game. Alright, thank you for joining me, Drunken Monk. Have a good night. I'll probably hit the hay too, soon. Yeah, it's good chatting with you too. It's probably a mistake. It's DJ Massa. Yeah, that's me. TV's Gary. Oh my gosh. It's been a while. It's been a while. Well, I probably saw you at one of the like 4th of July mix and max like a while ago. We haven't we haven't done one of those in a while. You starting a streaming career? Not really. I'm mostly capturing footage for a video, and I thought this would be more fun than doing it by myself alone in my basement. Or at least I think I might be doing it for a video. I don't know yet. Sometimes I just collect footage and hopefully I use it. I'm doing the event. It's like the Final Fantasy IV Job Fiesta. I don't know if you're familiar with it, but that would be probably what the video is going to be about, is this specific event. Most things I do in life are for a video. Besides, I guess, having children. What are the jobs? Well, I've only gotten one job assigned to me, which is Monk right now. That's why that last battle, I was just punching the crap out of everything. So I have Monk, and then we'll see what I get for my next crystal. And the Twitter robot will assign that to me. Oh, but I think I'm gonna call it for a night. But it's good to hear from you. Yeah, the jobs are a surprise. So each new crystal you get assigned a job. So I know if I knew the jobs beforehand, it would be you could plan a little better. But you kind of have to do some surprising. But it was good to hear from you. It was good to see you, and I'm gonna hit the hay. So this is a fun experiment. A couple friends stopped by this time. I did one yesterday, and nobody stopped by. Or not yesterday, the day before. But maybe if I keep doing them, maybe, if you build it, they will come. You know TV's Gary? So, anyway. I am signing off for the day. Good night.